Hey, you short, tall kings and queens. Mind if I show you my pew pew? I hate myself. Just roll the intro already. Hello everyone, my name is Kira Creates, at least I think that's my name. I'm pretty sure that's my name. That's what's on the channel, right? Y'all can read, I think. I can't. But welcome back to yet another build video where I'm going to be making this beauty from Has-Been Hotel for Angel Dust. Now, if you don't know already, if you haven't seen my Alistair microphone video yet, which you totally should, I have a major amount of brain rot from Has-Been Hotel, and I am absolutely in love with the show. I have not actually watched Hello Boss. I feel like that's a crime. Brandon Rogers is apparently amazing.
I just remembered I'm gay.
I absolutely love this show. I can't wait for season 2, and 3 also got greenlit, so that's cool. So I can't wait for those to come out. But my favorite character from the show isn't actually Alistair. He's like one of my top 3, but it's actually Angel Dust here because I identify with the slutty spider demon. Okay, that might not actually be a good thing. But yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys how start to finish I made this gun. And it would have been possible without this channel's partner, Polymaker, for sending me out all the beautiful filament. Make sure you check out my affiliate link down below for some amazing filament that's great to work with, easy to print, and turns out super clean. And this also wouldn't be possible without a huge special thanks to the person who modeled this, which, oh god, I'm probably going to butcher your name again. I am so sorry. Otomenokaiju, which she also works with Apropalypse Creations. I think that's the name of the account, Apropalypse. You should go follow both of them. They are fantastic modelers, and also on Apropalypse, they make the actual physical props, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we collaborated on this project. She sent me the files, so I'll have linked down below to the Colts 3D file set. It's really cheap, so honestly, it's turned out beautifully. If you can make something like this, I think it's well worth, I think, the $3 it is. I'm not sure. But yeah, that'll be linked down below, so that way you can get all this stuff and basically know how to do it after the end of this video. But yeah, I rushed this for Otakon in about, I think, a week and a half. I think that might be excluding printing time. I don't know. I was working on the gun while I was waiting for different parts of print. I think this took about a week and a half to make, and I think it turned out pretty dang decent, all things considered, for the short amount of time I had to make this. Of course, there's things I'd improve on, but that's near here and there. I'll probably talk about that at the end of the video. But yeah, I learned a very new technique to get the barrel and all the wood looking parts to actually look like wood for this video. So if you want to learn how to make 3D prints look like wood, watch this video until towards the end when I actually do this, because this is going to be freaking amazing and make all your prints that you want to make look like wood just look fantastic. But yeah, I think with all that being said and everybody shouted out and shameless plugging, I think we're ready to go on the video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, comment down below what your favorite Has-Been character is, and if there's anything you'd do differently for the gun, just for your own personalization, that kind of stuff, because yeah, Has-Been's really cool. Again, can't wait for season 2. All right, so with all that being said, let's get to actually making this thing. All right, everybody, it's time to get this thing started. And yes, we're getting it started because we're in the year 2025 now, and I started this project back in August of 2024. I am so sorry to the modelers. Better late than never, right? Anyway, so before you can even print anything out, you gotta have a 3D file to do so. So we are on Colts 3D here, and so you can get a ton of files on this website. It's a great website. But here we're just gonna search up Angel Dust, see what comes up here. Yeah, there we go. And of course we have some nice little figurines that you can print out. That's a pretty decent looking gun there, but I'm not really too big of a fan of the design. It's a cool design, but just not a big fan of the aesthetic. It's personal taste. But here we have the gun that I used. So this gun was modeled by Otomenokaiju. Again, still can't get the name right, I don't think. But yeah, I hit her up a bit after I made my Alistair microphone video, which I suggest you check that out if you haven't already. And so I hit her up. I was like, hey, I really like your model. Would you want to partner up and make an Angel Dust gun model? And she was like, yeah, sure. And here we are. She made this, and you can now buy this on Colts 3D. Well, you been able to buy it on Cult 3D. It's only $3. I totally recommend to get this. It's an awesome file and it looks gorgeous when it's printed out. She's also partners and works with Apropalypse Creation, so I suggest checking them both out. They do amazing work together, and they just make awesome stuff, and they just do not get enough credit for it. So go check them out both on their Instagrams and Cult 3D. I will have everything linked down below. We got a few renders here, just giving you an idea of the gun. Here's all the pieces that it comes in for easy printing and assembly. And like I said, it's only $3. I already downloaded it, so I don't really need to go through that process, but yeah, it's got everything you need here. So now that we have our file, let's go ahead and throw it on the slicer. So I have Ultimaker Kira popped up here, and yes, I use Ultimaker Kira in 2025. Sue me, I don't care. It works just fine. I get great prints out of it. Leave me alone. So here I just have 4 components here because I don't have the G-code saved of when I did this gun. So this is what I'm working with. So basically this boils down into 4 very simple things here of how I have this stuff oriented. So first of all, I have the square parts of the gun, which is the main body of it, laying flat like this guy right here. They just have some simple tree supports supporting each little peg here for when you combine the parts. And it's sitting on a raft. All of these are sitting on rafts, and all of these are using tree supports. So that's how I'm going to have the body of the gun sit. And then for the barrel, I have all my parts going vertical like this, and I have the sides that are going to have the least amount of supports, which is this bottom part here, for example, where it just has these 2 sections here, versus if I flipped it to where this top section here would be on the build plate, this would form a lot more supports and use a little bit more material. And then the file component here are some of these pieces that do have the pegs here, but I don't want to lay them on one of the flat surfaces because that'll ruin and scar that surface, and I don't want to do that. So I have the peg here laying on the bed because this part here, where there's going to be a bunch of supports forming on the stock, that is all not going to be shown on the final product because that is where I'm going to be welding the parts together, and you're not even going to see it. It's going to be like inside the part. So that's another reason why I print there, because this rectangle section is going to be in the gun. You're not going to see it. And going back to the main part of the gun here, where I have this laying flat like this, another reason why I chose that way is because of this section here, this little gap. Well, it's not really little. That is where the magazine sits. So if I rotated this to where it was long ways going up and down, a bunch of supports would have formed in there and used up a ton of extra material. And I didn't want to use any extra material because this was Polymaker's filament that they sent me, and I only have a limited amount to work with, so I went ahead and did this. I was okay with the extra post-processing work, which, by the way, if I didn't say it already in the video, I forget. I haven't gone through the footage yet. Make sure to check out Polymaker. I have an affiliate link down below. They provide a bunch of amazing filament, and the majority of the filament that they provided, this is just extra leftover, I use for my Mark 40 Iron Man suit. If you haven't checked out that series, I totally suggest you do. But yeah, that's the basics of how I printed everything. There's some outliers, like some of the small parts like the trigger, but if you've printed things before, you're starting out, you can usually figure out how to do it. It's really simple. This is not really a slicer tutorial. I'm just showing you kind of how I did things. But yeah, going over my settings really quick, the important ones to note is that I did a 0.2 layer height with 2 walls with a 15% gyroid infill, printing at 220 degrees, and the build plate is at 60 degrees Celsius. I want it on the higher end of the temperature range just because that helps make the filament more melty and help the layers stick to each other a lot easier. And of course, for supports, I'm using tree supports. I have 0% support density because of how the tree supports work in Kira. I don't really need any density in them. They work just fine. I never had a support actually really fail on me like that. So 0% the support density on trees. It works fine in Kira. And of course I have everything sitting on a raft, so that way it has maximum build plate adhesion. So that's pretty much it for going over the files here. Let's actually show like a couple of the prints here, and let's move to actually building this thing. Alright, now we got our parts all printed for the gun, and I was going to just hand sand everything, but because of time constraints, I'm going to go with the big guns. Yeah, you can get one of these pretty cheap at like any hardware store. I got this one I think at Home Depot for like 30 bucks. This is a palm sander. if you're sanding a lot of parts, get this. It makes your life a billion times easier because everything sucks right now. We need as much ease as we can get. But yeah, this is N80 grit sanding disc. It's a little bit overkill because I normally do 100 for the Cos PLA here. Sponsored by Polymaker. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, I got affiliate link down below. But yeah, I'm going to be using 80 grit for this, so this should hopefully make things theoretically sand a lot faster for this first pass. Now, this is like the only pass I'm doing with the palm sander because the finer sanding and everything like that to make it smoother, that's going to be still by hand with the wet sanding and everything. So go ahead and get this done, and I might as well, while I'm doing all this, I'm going to get this face shell done that I'm actually doing as a commission for somebody. So make sure you follow me on Instagram because I do commissions for a very good price for 3D printed props like Spidey face shells, and might be able to do the gun for you too if the price is right. Yeah, I'm going to palm sand everything with this 80 grit, and then we'll get to the wet sanding shenanigans. Alright, so I got all my parts sanded that I was doing with my palm sander, and now there's a few parts that I couldn't really do that with. So, well, I could like do my palm sander on these smaller guys, but I wouldn't be able to like get in some of the smaller nooks and crannies, especially with like the muzzle here. Because yeah, you got like this edge here, you got this guy sticking out, all that good fun stuff. So I thought it'd just be better just to use some hand sandpaper and just do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to be using 100 grit for this because I was able to do that on my last project for my Yang cosplay, which worked out extremely well because this Cos PLA is fantastic to sand. And basically all I need to do for that, which makes my life a whole lot easier, is because of how round these are and how small they are, I can literally just wrap my sandpaper around this and just like do this kind of motion. You know, that's really fitting for angel dust. Just, Hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and get these hand sanded quick, and the initial round of sanding should be done. I can move to my putty, so that way I can fill in some imperfections, and just move on with my 220, wet sanding, primer, 220, until it's perfectly smooth. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a whole montage of that entire process, and then we'll start talking about painting, because this is going to be, again, no different than my normal processes that I've already shown. If you want to see those processes, go to like one of my previous videos. I think my Yang arm cosplay build shows that a little more in depth, so check it out. Alright, so before I actually get to the priming stage here, I'm actually going to start combining some of the parts that are going to be one basically color. So a lot of the reference images in the show are like a gray or gunmetal or whatever. I'm doing a mix of wood and gunmetal just to make it a little more realistic, because I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing. So doing a realistic looking Tommy gun-ish thing with, of course, his web details and some pink spread around for like the lines and stuff. So yeah, I already went ahead and started with the stock here. As you can see where the two pieces were joined here, it's joined at this point here. I dug my soldering iron into here. This is a really deep gash in here. So I am just piling, and I mean piling on Bondo spot putty. Now this isn't really the best stuff to like build up layers with and stuff like that, because you can see it's like cracking along the middle there, but that's fine. It should be able to be covered up just fine. It's just probably use like better stuff to like fill these lines in and stuff like that, because this stuff is not cheap, and it's just what I have on hand because I'm cotton crunching again. So I'm going to be doing that to a few different pieces. I'm going to be doing that to this entire guy because this is all gunmetal. So I'm going to just combine all of these by using plastic welding and a little bit of hot glue, which, let's move over. Don't worry, this isn't gonna melt. This radiator is off. Don't worry, it's not gonna turn into a slushy like my brain. Anyway, so we got my Bonder hot glue here that I'm just gonna dump in those little crevices there just to hold this whole guy together before I get this welded. So just makes it a little bit stronger. Yeah, just to show you guys that process, I'm just gonna go ahead, slide this out of that peg hole, and then just stand that up there. And really all there is to is that I'm just gonna dump this into the hole here, just like that. I don't need a whole crap ton of it. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and just slot this guy into the hole if I can. There we go. Now that should go ahead and cool. And then that should be combined. Now I can see there's like a bit of a slope here, like this starts and then it's like slopes up that way and then levels out. That's because this side was on the build plate and that kind of messed up a little bit, but I could probably fix that, I guess, maybe. I don't freaking know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, glue all this in, and then I'm gonna plastic weld, and I'll show you that whole process in another epic montage. Woohoo! Alright, so I'm just gonna quickly do this. All I'm gonna be doing here, I'm not gonna like dig it in really, I'm just gonna drag it along the top and create a little bit of a weld along here and just go around that, go around the barrel parts here. I'm just gonna really concern myself about this part of the barrel here. I'm not really gonna concern myself with this joint and this joint because of like just how it's angled in there. The glue's strong enough, like it is not going anywhere. So I'm just gonna join the middle of the barrel here, and then the welding should pretty much be done. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that quick. Okay, so we have all the wet sanding done, and now it's just a random cut to me playing around on my iPhone. My room is a mess right now because Otomenokaiju is a crunch, and I have let everything go for the past 2 months. I haven't worked on you for over a month. I need to work on you after Otomenokaiju, and I have the Mark 42 torn down because I got them mostly put away, and I'm currently clear coating the metallic parts here. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So quickly doing the paints because again, I'm rushing. I'm doing the clear coats right now for this, and I'm also painting at the same time the gun. This is insane. But yeah, for the first round of painting we're going to be doing like one of my favorite paints of all time, this Krylon all-in-one metallic dark metal. This shit is just gorgeous. I love how it looks. It looks absolutely phenomenal. It's like one of my favorite paints like ever. Just beautiful. I love it. I'm using this for all the metallic parts of the guns. That way it's got a nice dark metallic like gunmetal feel to it. And after that, I'm going to be using my Duplicolor 1K Clear for that extreme gloss finish on that guy. And then I'm very excited to tell you how I'm going to be doing the second round painting for like the stock and everything like that. I'm just excited. It's going to be a new technique and it's going to look so good if it works out. So yeah, let's go ahead and paint this first and then we'll get to the second round of painting, I guess. Alrighty, so now I'm pretty much ready to get this going here. I currently have the main stock like over there curing because I had to repaint something. Yes, this is a mess, I know. I'm not afraid to show it. So I might as well show you here. So the caramel is basically cured on this guy. The paint job itself is not very perfect. Like you can see like this big line here from like where I just dumped paint on here because there's like some chips in here, which you can still see, but at least they're painted now. But yeah, like I said, this whole gun is a rush job, so like it's not gonna be perfect, but since it's a grip, my hand is just gonna be like covering the most of it anyway, so like you're not really gonna notice. On top of when the wood finish is gonna be applied. So our tools here is this really cheap brush that you can get for like $2. I got everything here at Ace Hardware. You could get it probably any hardware store. Wood finish is probably at a hardware store too. I'm gonna be going through that, and we'll see how this turns out, because I've never done this before, and I hope it works out pretty cool. Alright, now that we have all of our parts clear coated, and while I'm waiting for all the wood crap to start, I don't know, curing, because I literally just finished spraying the last part like 2 minutes ago, we're going to be using a pink paint marker to get done all the pink parts of the gun, you know, like the little details, the spider web, which I have like right here. So it's still kind of glued onto the paint can, but yeah, this is ready to get the spider webs drawn in pink, as well as like some other parts of the gun. This is a Deco Color acrylic pink paint marker. Wow, that's hard to say. You can get this on Amazon. That's where I got it, or just whatever paint marker works for you. It doesn't really matter too much as long as it's pink. Pretty self-explanatory, just drawing some stuff with this. And yeah, I'll show you that. And then I think after that, it's time for final assembly. So finally, we're almost done. Alright, let's go ahead and peel this stuff off here. Okay, so this side looks fine. There's a little spot here, but then the bottom here has some wood stain on it, and this is an absolute mess. So I'm gonna see if I can clean that up with an alcohol wipe, like a Clorox wipe or something, and see how that comes up, because it's still a little bit tacky, so I might be able to get away with cleaning that up. If I can't get it perfect, that's fine. My hands are gonna be here most of the time anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal, but that's what I get for rushing this project. Okay, so fun fact, I actually got most of the gun already assembled here. I just have one more part here because I just kind of want to speed through this, but also, yeah, I had to repaint this guy because there was a couple complications with it. I accidentally smudged some of the wood here, so I kind of had to redo some of it and re-clear coat it, but here we are. I totally don't want to die, but yeah, I gotta add this to this part of the barrel here. It goes on like this here into like these little square holes here. Alrighty guys, so that was the making video, I guess. Very, again, happy with how this turned out. Some things I would do differently. For one, I wouldn't put my grubby fingers all over the wood finish while I still think it's curing, because I thought it would dry. It didn't. It was still wet. It didn't dry until I put the clear coat on it. So make sure you're not really like touching as much of the wood as possible until you get a clear coat on this thing, because it does not work pretty. Second thing, of course, is a product of rushing, but of course sanding it a bit better, hiding some of the welding seams a bit better. Like you can barely see it, but you can like especially see it like right here. But yeah, hide the seams a little better, use a little more filling material, and also just like take a little more time with the welding job itself. Just that way, like the weld itself is a bit smoother and it's a lot easier to smooth over and make a lot cleaner. And also use less wood finisher, because this kind of like gooped up and stuff like that, and there are a couple spots on this where like it kind of like started moving around a little bit even while it was dry. Like on the handle here, I don't think you can see it very well, but like there's a couple spots on this thing where the wood finish kind of came up a little bit. But just be very conservative with your application of that and you'll be fine. Oh yeah, and also before I forget, here's some couple pictures of the full cosplay with all the makeup and stuff with the gun itself. I think the whole cosplay itself turned out fantastic. The photographers I shot with, like Striking Portraits, HS Ryukai, or what, however you say it. He goes by Shiro. I don't know why he has such a convoluted name for his username. Other than all that, that's pretty much the end of the video. Again, I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button if you did. Again, leave a comment about like literally anything. And if you want more content, check out my other social medias down below, like my Instagram, where I am on there way too much. And I post a lot of pictures on there, so make sure you follow that. And you can use that to DM me if you want a 3D printing commission, because I'll be willing to do this. Probably for like, I don't have a price for this guy yet, but I'd say like 200, I think would be fair. Shipping, though, would be fun. Ugh. But yeah, you can DM me on there. And I also have a couple other things like TikTok, Twitch, and all that, but I barely ever use it because TikTok algorithm sucks, and I'm too busy to live stream. So yeah, go ahead, do all that stuff, and make sure you get a magazine of me from Creative Cosplays Magazine. I don't have it on autofocus right now, but I have a magazine back there with my face on it. So make sure you go to creativecosplaysmagazine.com, or I'll have it linked down in the description as well. And check out all the other sponsors, all that good stuff. And until the next video, where I might either do another cosplay review, which I haven't done those for a while, or I actually get started on my Iron Man Mark 40 video build series, which I have like, at the time of recording this, 3 videos like 80% finished. It's just I've been so busy with like this stuff and everything. But after this is all done, hey, I can move to that project. So, hey. But yeah, until the next video, I hope you guys make sure that you play with guns right. I don't know. Go outside, touch grass. Goodbye.